Okay, this lesson is Koine, the unnegated witness. I just made a previous video about this to explain the grammar and how that this is a double negative. This word here is M-A-R-T, where we get martyr. This letter A is a negation, so the word sin is how it's usually translated. Jesus said in the King James Version, it records that he said, "He that's without sin, let him cast the first stone." And what I pointed out very clearly that the Koine demonstrated for me was that there was another negative placed in front. And the N here in the Koine text is because you can't have the two A's come together as when we write our English word a as an indefinite article in front of the word, let's say, opportunity, that starts with an O. We would put an opportunity, A-N, like this. So I was showing in that lesson that it was a double negative. That is, they actually were negating the witness against her, the negative witness against her that was true. She was caught in adultery, but they were trying to use her account, her crime, her sin, her negation of testimony, which is a crime according to the Bible. They were trying to use it to cause Jesus to negate the law of Moses, and he wrote on the ground all the infractions of the law of Moses that they had committed. They had to drop their stones and back away, because if they had proceeded, they would have been negating the very law of Moses that they had tried to lure him into negating. So that was a very powerful lesson. But for Koine Counsel, for the youth that I want to especially focus on, this is something that really helped me when I was trying to help young people understand that when people were coming against them to negate them or to, quote, get them or judge them down and condemnation, is that if they don't follow the law of God, the spiritual of the new, or the covenant of the old, the law code of 613 rules and commandments in the Old Testament, if they're not following that, then you don't have to subject yourself to it. And you have a responsibility not to. Even if you were guilty, it should be thrown out of court, because their heart is worse than even the condition that you're in, because they're trying to use your failure or your fault, or in this case your negative testimony, to then condemn you rather than restore you or help you. But as I've taught young people, I'm telling you now, there's people who will manufacture, religious people will manufacture sins. I've laughed about it, because as I've been in the ministry now for years and I came out from so many things that I've not even considered returning to and have never been part of. But especially, people will be so negative and so driven with hatred that they will even generate negative testimonies, which is not what they did in this text. The woman was guilty, but they were not following the law. But when people generate a sin against you and change the rules without notifying you, and then come to try to negate you, they're doing this. They've negated their negative testimony because it's ingenuous, or it's fabricated, or it's a tradition, or it's something that they have to come up with because they already hate you. They're just looking for a cause to justify their desire to negate you. But I've used this. It's served me very well. It's helped me be very wise as the snakes and very innocent as the doves, especially dealing with people with dark minds, hard hearts, and void of the Spirit of God. They don't have a sound mind. They're very intimidated. They have a spirit of timidity. They're filled with fear and unbelief. They're negators of faith. So when they try to approach me, it's like children in Matthew 11 that are on one side of the street piping and complaining because I don't dance, or on the other side they're over there pouting and complaining because I don't cry and pout with them. They're just children to us who have grown up in the faith and are strong in the Lord, and who are fathers in the faith, that is. So I'm just using this for Koine Counsel to help young people understand, especially if you are come to our church and have been at our church for years now, like a lot of you I raised there in the Lord and admonished you. This is to help you be shrewd, because when someone's not following the teachings of Jesus to carry out action, you know it's not for correction or the betterment of the person against whom they're doing it. So it fits the spirit, the dark, evil spirit behind this kind of action in John 8:7. So that's enough lesson for counsel there. This verse is very powerful. It's sometimes translated sinless. Sinless, in case you haven't seen the other video about it. Sinless. And this is a way to translate this word A, this letter A. But you can see by only putting that one expression there, this term, in whatever this word is in English, wherever it came from, it doesn't, by writing that, you don't bring out the other negation. So in this case, there's two negatives here. And less is a good one, because you remember in math, you talk about subtracting something and making it less or minus. The negative is less is a good translation. It's just by leaving this word like this, you don't show the double negative. So I translated the unnegated witness and used these two negatives as that which functions adjectively to the witness rather than the unnegated witnessed one. That gets a little too much. But bring out that double negative and you'll find the irony of it is that Jesus never forgave her. He simply threw it out of court when he said he didn't condemn her, meaning he did not carry out the judgment against her because it was not according to the law of Moses. He actually upheld the law of Moses, and they were the ones who were negating it. They came there to try to lead him into being the one who would negate it. And he scribbled on the ground all the laws of Moses as they had negated. And of course they wouldn't dare proceed, because had they done so in the presence of each other, they would have had witnesses against them as ones breaking or negating the law of Moses, and they would have been subject to stoning themselves. Very wonderful, very excellent skill in handling evil people with evil devices and means and intentions. So young people, be smart like Jesus, and if you can't be smart as Jesus, try to be smart as Brother Carter, your pastor. Anyway, enjoy the lesson. Thanks.